What's up, guys? Marcin here. I like that new jam. We had to I had to replace it because we were getting canned for some reason by Facebook, even though we have the license for the tune. It didn't like it, so we've replaced it, and I think I like this one better. But why am I here? First, let's do a little intro, or actually, let's talk about a subject first. Typically, I do a quick intro. But I wanted, since we're also streaming this to YouTube this time, I just wanted to give you a topic first. Why am I here? So this is what I typically do every Thursday. I go live and I provide free training, and it's all about photography. I've done photography for the last 17 years, from events to corporate to commercial to product. Events was my biggest thing, and this is exactly what I'm sharing here. So anything from camera to editing to how do you run your lead generation process, anything that touches Facebook ads, anything that deals with client interaction, anything that deals with logistics, pretty much everything. So last time we actually started like a small series, right? Because we started to talk about editing photos. And last time we have talked about photo mechanic. So photo mechanic, just to kind of recap the last episode quickly, was really about you come back from an event, from a photo engagement, let's call it, and you drop your images, you put them on a hard drive, you back them up the right way, and then you start doing your selections, right? That's the very first thing you do. And I covered basically the part where we talk about photo mechanic, where you load all the images into photo mechanic, you manipulate the file names, you sort them the right way, and then you flag them depending on their final destination. So depending on whether they are going to be printed, or something that's going into an album, or just final selections versus the rejects. This is what we talked about last time. This week, I wanted to kind of load this session, and I hope we're not going to go for too long. But today, I wanted to talk about Lightroom. And who is this session for? If you're like an advanced, you already know Lightroom, you feel comfortable editing photos in Lightroom, this is not going to be a session for you. This is more for those folks that are saying, hey, I've done photography for a little bit. It's like a hobby thing. Maybe I have tried to do some photo shoots, but they are not aware of like how Lightroom should be handled. Maybe they're not familiar with how Lightroom can be leveraged for doing same-day edits at a wedding, let's say. Also, for those of you that are manipulating Lightroom manually, sort of with the sliders, and they're looking into getting presets, this is what we're going to cover today too. So basically, what I'm going to do is actually like a quick live demo, and this is exactly what I have been doing for the last, I've done this for 17, so let's just say last probably 15, because the first 2 years I was kind of experimenting around. But it's very, very simple. A lot of people, like when they go through it, it's like they're usually kind of pleasantly surprised, because like, this is it, like this is all you do. And that's exactly the point. So I want to take you guys through. I will actually be switching gears and screens here to show you my Lightroom interface. We're going to be loading images. We're going to be talking about folder structures. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. And I think we should get going. Typically, or a lot of times, I have a slide deck for you guys, just because this is like a hands-on thing. I don't have slides today, so I'll be just kind of riffing, kind of showing you different screens, because there's a lot I have to show you, a lot that we have to unpack, and that is really it. And again, for those of you that maybe are watching for the first time, I'm Marcin. I've been doing photography for 17 years, here to share everything, like I said, all the categories. What do I typically do is I shoot photos, then we process photos, and then we deliver, things like this. I don't know if you guys can see it well. Things like this to our clients. So it could be acrylic, could be an album. Believe it or not a lot of people are into products, just because there's so many options available on the market today where the client doesn't have to go necessarily through you. So it's just an option. It's an upsell. That's one of those things that we also talk about in those trainings. So let's start with Lightroom, and let me tell you about Lightroom. So I'm assuming most of you guys that are watching this are familiar with Lightroom and know what Lightroom is doing. The software I mentioned, the photo mechanic earlier, was basically where we do the selections. Lightroom is where we manipulate images, right? So we make them pretty. That's really what happens there. And it's not just really about filters. Lightroom is really about, for me, it's really about three things. It's about speed, structure, because it's once you load the images, the same structure every time, you're looking at the same screen, and consistency. So even with like presets, you can go nuts with presets and just kind of do all kind of stuff. But I try, honestly, from an event to event, I probably work with maybe 15 presets, if that. And yes, you obviously can take it to another level. You can spend a long time working with presets. It's kind of like in Photoshop. You can just sit and spend hours and hours and hours on end. It's like the way we look at it, the way I look at it as a photographer, as an editor. I actually have an assistant person that helps us with editing, and he's doing a phenomenal job. So we actually I have outsourced that part, which is also something that you can consider. Not everybody is enjoying that time. Sometimes, we're trying to cut on time, making the process more efficient. And it's something that you can also do. If you don't have a lot of events going on, if you're just starting out, maybe you're somewhere in the middle of the journey, you don't have to have an external editor. You may consider it if you're doing headshot photos, but it's just something. It's a decision that you can make later. But at the beginning, you have to kind of know what's going on, how Lightroom works, because even when you exchange files with your editor, you know exactly how it works and what can be adjusted. And even when you need to run another export for something else, you kind of have to be familiar with Lightroom. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to keep it very simple. We're not going to go into any advanced topics. Even I was thinking about including AI and object removal. We're not going to do it today. And not that I do it all the time. We usually, when it comes to AI and adjustments and really polishing images, that only happens for images that are selected for either to be printed, either for images that end up in the album. So for the 500 or 600 images that we deliver to the client from things like weddings, everything pretty much happens in Lightroom. I don't step outside of the Lightroom borders, and I don't tap into Photoshop because you don't really need to. So today we're gonna talk about importing files to Lightroom. We're gonna look at presets. I'm gonna show you kind of how I batch process some images, because there's presets that I apply at the very beginning, and then I will actually go through and we can probably edit a couple images depending on the time. So that's the plan for today. But before we jump into Lightroom, I wanted to show you guys something, because it's something I've learned from a very good friend of mine, another photographer that has been in the market for prior to me showing up, a new kid on the block. There was a photographer that kind of showed me my way around folder structures and why is it important? Because before, there's really kind of part of my workflow, I never kind of cared about it. It's just the files are here in this folder and it's all mess and they're kind of all over the place. So folder structure is very important. So prior to us looking into Lightroom, we're going to look at that folder structure. And when I say folder structure, it's actually, I have a folder for my raw files, for my Lightroom catalog, for my images that are exported, for my rejects. So every single time when you guys go from an event to event or portrait to portrait, let's say you're doing family portraits, every family shoot should be within one folder. So it's very repetitive. Not only your workflow becomes more efficient and you can just kind of copy it from an event to event, but also whenever you need to look for files, maybe you're generating for something like end of the quarter, end of the year, best of 2025, you want to go and create some a montage or maybe slideshows, maybe you're printing a demo album or something. It's easy to then go back and each event, each photo engagement is kind of structured the same way. So it's super easy and super efficient. So I'm going to show you that, and then when I import the photos, I already mentioned the number. I usually work with about 500 to 700 photos that are delivered to the client, and I go in through Lightroom, I import it. I'll show you the process. The files, like I said, they're already kind of renamed and sorted the right way, so they're all kind of there. And then I'll walk you through presets. I'll also will probably show you where you can get those presets, because a lot of people are wondering, like, what are presets? What are the good presets? Where can I find them? And it's just presets. When we talk about presets, it's the way the sort of like a quick conversion. When you upload it to Lightroom, you can click on a photo, click on a preset, and the preset is responsible for applying changes, like adjusting colors. So all the post-processing is embedded, encapsulated within like a single preset. Whether you're going black or white, or you're adjusting something on a photo, you'll see what I am talking about in a little bit, and then I'll show you how I manipulate some photos manually, whether it's like cropping or cropping or adjustments. Maybe we'll play with exposure. I want to show you maybe a little bit of like a mask, meaning you can actually make changes to like part of the photo instead of the entire photo. So that's very important. And then and I think, oh, and then in the end, I want to touch on the export and also show you the preview, like the same day edit thing when we're at the wedding and we're actually going through. We actually select a couple images from the as we're going reception time. I pull like an inventory of images and I run like a quick Lightroom edit, kind of like what we're going to do today. Simpler, and I just do a quick demo because it's a great marketing tool, because you're already at the event and you get people to like start conversations with you. So it's awesome. As I'm going here, I just wanted to remind you guys, if you're enjoying this content, if this is something that you're vibing with, give us a like or consider subscribing, because we're going to be actually publishing all of the training videos or some of the training material to YouTube. So probably something you want to take advantage of. But not only that, as I'm going through, I always encourage people to leave comments. Good comments, bad comments. If you're agreeing with me, if you're curious about something, if you're disagreeing with me, it's always good to know where you guys kind of are, because it just helps with crafting future content and knowing kind of where folks are, instead of maybe dealing with basics. Maybe you guys are interested in like more advanced topics or a topic for next training video. So comments are always super important. And before I get going, before I show you the Lightroom, also quickly, not only we're going to be doing those lives here and publishing videos now to the group and to YouTube channel, you can find us in the Facebook group. And I will just quickly show you guys here, post a little QR code. So if you don't know where we are, this is the best way, the quickest way to find me. The QR code will actually lead you to a quick like interface, so you can actually see the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, the Instagram, and I think we have X there as well. So if you scan it, you'll see what I'm talking about. And this is the quick link to the Facebook group. So if you just type in easyproimage.com/group, it'll take you to the Facebook group where you can find us. All right, guys. So no further delay. Let's look at some stuff. And I mentioned the first thing we're gonna look at is folder structure. So let me change the window here, and let's see if you guys can see this. All right, cool. So I think we're good. This folder here that's highlighted, it's called Lightroom Demo, but let's pretend that's your main hard drive. Maybe this is where you're putting, I'm not sure whether you're storing your images on your computer. You technically should have something external and maybe on your computer. Best way to do it is always like store it on an external hard drive with a copy on another external hard drive, and maybe later consider like a cloud backup in case both hard drives get destroyed, stolen. I don't know what happens. You always have backup in the cloud. But I'm going to pretend that this is my primary hard drive. This is what I typically do. This is the folder structure. And normally, most of these, this is just demo. So those are empty. Only like the wedding one is populated because I wanted to show you the naming convention. But normally when I click on my hard drive, I can immediately go and it's like, oh, I'm looking for images from a wedding or a headshot engagement or from another event that we did, maybe some corporate work or commercial. Like I immediately go there, and then the next thing is I'll be looking for a specific wedding or a date, right? So even when it comes to like naming folders, I always follow this this structure here. When I put the year first, month, and the date, so it's super easy to like. If you're thinking of a wedding or like a client calls and you have them on a calendar, you know their date, you can go here. Or you can also find them by name. Obviously, this is just example. So I wrote Mars's wedding. By the way, we just celebrated 19th wedding anniversary 2 days ago on June 10th. So happy anniversary to us. But in this case, you guys will see it's a folder with client's name and the date. And then inside that folder, I have a bunch of other folders. Why? Because we do different things with our photos. So typically, I mean, fundamentally, we need to have a folder with our raw files, right? So this is where after Photo Mechanic, we basically sort them, we rename them, and they all land in this folder. Right now, I only have 47 files there. This is just an example. This is just for the demo. Typically, you guys would normally see like 500, 600, 700 images in here, and those are then loaded to Lightroom. And there's also a rejects folder. So if anything from in the process of a selection process, if we go and we select some rejects, we can actually move those rejects to this folder. We never get rid of them because you never know when you're gonna have to come back and maybe pull some extras. Maybe you missed a person or a detail or something. So we never kind of do the selections and get rid of the files. We always leave the rejects there. Yes, it takes up more space, but it's just for your safety, right? For security, yours and your clients. So so this is normally what you would see. I don't want to focus on all the other folders because we have separate trainings dedicated to like what goes in there and why. But what matters here is the raw folder. This is where the kind of final selections are. And then we have print. So this is used for printing. This is when I export out of Lightroom. This is where the final corrected files already converted are going in because the raw files never change, right? Lightroom is making adjustments, but Lightroom never is making adjustments to the actual file. It's almost like creating a layer on top of an image where like you have everything the way you would like, and then when you do the export, it just creates a copy of that image already post-processed that way, right? So raw files stay here. Print used for printing. This is where I put my final files. And then Lightroom folder, this is where I put my I was testing before, so I can actually get rid of this folder. But in the Lightroom folder, this is where I'm going to store my Lightroom catalog. And it's important. Actually, I'm going to keep it there. It's important. So there's nothing, the folder should be empty. Actually, let me, just so you guys are not confused. The Lightroom is where the catalog is going. So whenever you need to like go and open up and maybe re-edit some images, maybe the client called it like, hey, I have this file. It's awesome. It's in color, but I really need it in black and white. You can go in and like create a duplicate and create a black and white. And the Lightroom catalog is always there. And the common mistake that some photographers make is like they use the same catalog for multiple shoots. Don't do that. It's just going to affect the processing of Lightroom. It's slower, it's less efficient, and then you really have no idea where things are, especially, a couple months go by or maybe a year or two. You need to go back, and it's like you can just go back to a single edit and look for your catalog and just work with that same catalog instead of trying to figure out which catalog you used for a particular shoot. So this is really the folder structure. I hope it makes sense. Again, if something doesn't make sense, let me know in the comments. Viewing the feed from Facebook, and I'll try to check YouTube as well. So if you have any questions, just post them along. And from here, from the folder structure, we will go and look at importing photos. So this let's see if this works. Last time it took a few seconds for the interface to load, but it's already there. So that's kind of cool. All right, guys. So I'm looking at the at the Lightroom interface, and I hope you can see it. I always recommend, if you're watching on a phone, it's hard to follow, but like if you're watching this on YouTube, you can just extend your screen, go full screen, or when you're watching this later, when you go to our Facebook group, all the recordings of like those trainings, the live, sometimes we remove them depending on what it is, but you can always find them in guides section of the Facebook group. So that's just to let you know, because this way you can just kind of focus on what I'm saying right now, but then you can go back and rewatch if you're looking for details or what exactly I did at a particular segment. You can go back and rewatch it. But I'm back to Lightroom, and what I am going to do is just kind of from scratch, I'll go and say new catalog. So from a files menu, I created a new catalog. You guys may not be able to see it. Let's see if there's a way for me to change this. Is there a way for you guys to see the window? Let's see. Let's see. No, it's not there. That's okay. But what I'll do is create a new catalog. And give me 1 second. Let me just adjust. Okay, great. And what I'm going to do is call my new catalog test. And I will save this catalog, as I mentioned before, in the Lightroom folder that I showed you before. So now when I hit create, what it's going to do is actually it's going to close Lightroom and reopen it. And as it's reactivating Lightroom, I'm just going to go here for a second and show you guys. Can I show you the files again one more time? All right, cool. So in the Lightroom catalog, again, it created a folder test, and this is what it is. This is my new catalog. So I always, whenever I have a need to go back, I can always come here to this folder, click on the test catalog, and it will just relaunch the catalog in Lightroom, right? So I'm back to Lightroom. Let me switch back. And first thing that we're going to do is import our photos. Like I said, the files are already renamed. So I'm in my library here at the top. You can see Lightroom has different sections. If I went too fast, I'm going to go back here. There's different sections in Lightroom. There's library, there's develop option, and those are really the two that I'm using. And for the slideshow, I'm also, this option here, I'm also using it for the same day slideshows. So let's go back to import. And it will ask me for the location of my photos, which I already showed you. Like it's in the raw folder. So there is my Marcin's wedding folder right there, and then I would click on raw files. This is where all my the 47 images that I mentioned before. So I will import all my 47 images. Sometimes some photographers like to apply some presets to on import, just to save time. I typically don't do it. It's just a preference. But if you have some presets that you would like to apply as photos are importing, maybe you want to change your contrast, maybe your exposure, maybe white balance, depending on your preferences. You can run those as well as you're importing photos. I just import my photos as they are, and then I make adjustments. So that's kind of how I do it. But I will make this smaller just so you guys can see more photos. I think this is better. So now in my library, I see all my 47 images. And what we are going to do first is, let's talk about what presets. Actually, let me point to this section here, the develop section, because in the library tab, all I'm doing is importing photos. All the work happens under the develop tab. So I'm going to switch over to develop tab. And now on the left-hand side here, you guys can see a bunch of presets. And there's a lot of them. Do I use all of them? No. Like I said, I I probably live within like 15 to 20 maybe presets. Some of them are really like basic and standard. Some of them are adding color and just kind of adding, what do I want to call it? Like a tone to my photos. So the images, the presets are here on the left, and you can see as I'm going through my presets, and I hope this is, you guys can see it well. I'm looking at the preview. It looks fine on my end. As I'm going through presets, the color, the adjustments are already changing. And all the presets are doing is making changes to those sliders on the right. Normally you could just go in there and like play with those. Presets save you a lot of time, because if you're using the same preset all the time, you can almost put it like in a separate favorites folder and just use those. So it's super fast. For me, sometimes I like to play with those and just kind of preview for black and whites and just different adjustments. Those are the ones that are changing like the tonality. There's a couple here where I can add vignettes. I think the vignette that I'm usually using is down here. So you'll see how I'm kind of batch processing those, but that's where presets live. And just for a second, I want to switch gears and show you guys this, because a lot of times I get the question of like, okay, but like, where do I get the presets? You can find them kind of just all over the place. I will go here and show you guys in Google. All I did was I typed in Lightroom preset bundle, and it's just, you know, sky is the limit. And it's simply your it's just your preferences. There's no right or wrong presets. It's just what appeals to you visually. And this is almost like part of another conversation, because you will actually drive traffic to your website. Your clients will respond to your personal tastes, right? So it's not like you're at the beginning, if you're starting beginning of the journey, like you can mimic another photographer and kind of try to get to where you want to get or close to. But you'll notice with time, as you edit more and more images, you will develop a taste for your own presets, right? For your own style. So you'll see that like over time, if you're doing this for a month, 2, 3, maybe a year, maybe 2, you basically kind of funnel yourself into just using same presets. But what I was saying is, if you go into Google Lightroom preset bundle, you can just select from anything that you guys see here. Some presets are going to be pricey. Some you can get for probably $9, maybe less. Oh, you can see here, just something flashed in front of me. Yeah, so like those presets, it says from $9 to $199, and it really doesn't matter. When you click on them, this is essentially what you get. So when you're looking at presets, it usually comes with like a bundle of presets that you guys can load into Lightroom. We're going to cover that at some other time, but you can basically import them in. And if this is the style that you vibe with, like I'm pointing to, just buy those presets. If you tend to be more on like the dramatic side, maybe a little darker vibe, select those presets and load them in. A lot of times it's going to be trial and error. Sometimes you'll notice that like you're maybe not getting the results. Sometimes I like to buy random presets and just apply them to my images, and it just seems to be the right combination. So it's just a trial and error. You can try, you can see. Some of them you can get for $6, some of them you can get for $69. Like I said, there is no rule. I've tried both on the low end and on the high end, and I have been happy with the more affordable option, right? So so that's just an example. On Etsy, you have a bunch of these. Same thing. You'll see it just says Lightroom presets. You can buy from folks there. But you can go. A lot of photographers sell their own presets. So and it's the same. It's the same idea. You just go. You scroll through. You're kind of comparing. Hey, here is the original image. Here is the after preset is applied, right? And then you just basically purchase those. I'm just gonna scroll through like 2 more sites. But you get the idea. Luxlens, another place where you can go and just pick up presets. Depending on what the type of photography you're doing, whether it's like corporate and whatever, you get the point. So this is just what I wanted to point to you guys, because it's something that's people a lot of times overthink, and it's not really that complicated. You get presets, you try them. If they work, you leave them. If they don't, you get rid of them. So back to Lightroom. I'm waiting for the interface to load. All right, we're back here. And first thing that I do is I actually apply some basic presets to all of my images. So I have 47 images. I want to apply the same presets. I think I have 3 or 4 that I apply with one adjustment, like manual in settings, and I'll show you exactly what it is. But here, what I do is, you at the bottom here, you can see how like one photo is selected. I want to make sure that all the photos are selected because those presets are going to apply to all the photos. And what I do is, again, you're going to find some presets that you would continue to apply like from photo to photo. For me personally, it's just I do auto brightness, auto contrast, and auto exposure. Those are like the 3 presets. At the top here, you can actually see as I'm hitting the preset button, like somewhere over here, you guys will see there's like a progress bar showing you that it's like applying preset number 1, preset number 2, preset number 3. But once that is done, I can go down here, and I told you I'm applying vignette that I can find here also to all of my images. And the thing with presets is this, if you don't know that, in Lightroom, when you put your mouse over a preset, right, it applies the change. So you can see my vignettes are set up differently. I have a vignette 1, 2, and 3. So depending on which one it is, the intensity is different, right? So, and I have the same thing with presets with colors. Sometimes I like the presets, but maybe it's too aggressive. So what I typically do is I have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I can pick the level that I like. And there's no science behind it. It's simply, what do I like visually that I know my clients will probably prefer. Over time, you stick to the same presets, your clients get used to your work, and this is how you develop your style. The famous style, everybody's just kind of overthinking that, but all it is, it's basically over time, you guys develop a routine where your clients just kind of fall in love with, and that's just really what it is. So now I have applied vignette 2. You saw the progress bar at the top. And this is, oh, and one more change, actually. You'll see on the right here, there's a bunch of like sliders here. I usually like to bump contrast on my images. So you can see the difference. Like if I go down with contrast, it kind of washes it out. If you go to the right, it's the opposite extreme, right? I like my photos more contrasty, so I'll bump it up. I won't go crazy, but I'll probably end up at about +10. And that's just, this is the basic, right? Change to all of my images. And now you have to remember, because sometimes I forget, and then I go and start selecting my my sort of color selections, right? But because you have all the images selected, very often, you know, it happened before where I would just apply a filter and then would go and probably try another one. And I keep forgetting that it's now all those changes are being applied to all the photos. So just make sure, note that before you apply any colors, right, any changes, make sure you select the first photo in the sequence. And now you guys can see like first photo is selected. So now I'm only applying those changes to one image. Guys, and this is what it is. This is not rocket science. I basically go through my presets and just visually, very quickly, I'm like, okay, do I like this? So there's no rule. I'm simply just selecting a preset. I like what I see, and I move forward. Next one, sometimes it depends on, I want to cover like cropping images here. So sometimes when I want to adjust, rotate photo or make it smaller, just focus on one area, I would click on this tool here. You guys can see it right there under histogram. I would click it, and then you can basically, when you hold your mouse in a corner, you can see that arrow, bending arrow. You can move it around and your photo will rotate. So that's one thing. And then if you simply hold Shift button and move the corner, it will maintain the aspect ratio, right? So of the photo, the size. So if I want to focus on something, this is just an example, so I'm doing things quickly without really paying attention, but I can move if I want to just place this here. I can adjust it this way. Now this is my photo. Again, I'm doing this quickly, it's just a presentation. And again, going through my presets. Do I like what I see? Do I want to make it darker, lighter? Do I want to change the tonality of the photo? So like I said, no science. I'm going to go quickly through it just with you guys so you can see the process. And if I like something here, I actually like something that was here at the top. All right, I'm going to leave it like this. Next photo. This one. Here I want to show you masking. So you can see the person in the mirror. Maybe I want my photo to focus just on that individual. So there's a couple ways to do it in Lightroom, but I'll show you the fastest way. There's actually a tool right here for masking. So when I click on it, it gives me a couple options. Like I can select the subject, the sky, the background, but I usually work 90% of the cases I work with the brush. So I'm going to click on the brush, and you guys will hopefully see here that I can, it's not coming through. You can see the with red where I'm kind of like brushing around. So around the individual here, right there. And with that area selected, I can now go and select values here. So to the right, you see exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows. I can just go and let's say I wanted to change my exposure. I'm going to go to like an extreme just so you guys can see what's happening. But like you can change the exposure just of that one area, or you can go down and make it darker. So what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to make this lighter. And next thing I'm going to do is click on that. It's actually click on the, you guys can't see the window, but there's a create mask next to the histogram right in this spot here. So when you're in Lightroom, you're going to see it. And it actually allows me to create another mask. And what I'm going to do here, you'll see as I'm painting in red, I'm actually going around this person here. And instead of like making it lighter, I'm actually going to darken everything around this person. So this will actually make kind of her stand out. So you'll see now, before you guys saw me, making it lighter. I'm going to make it darker. I'm not going to go super extremely dark, but just kind of like that. Again, it's just me looking at the photo. Do I like the result? No science. I don't follow any formulas or protocols. It's just like, I totally dig the look and the feel of this photo. And then in the end, if I want to do something, I will disable masking, and then I will select one of the styles. This is too, see how like this is too strong because it washes out her skin tones. I will go and maybe select medium, or I can go light. Light is usually not enough for me, so I usually select medium, and I'm happy with this photo. So next photo, dress. Seems like things are overexposed in the back. I may want to actually, instead of using a preset, I may want to go here and drop. There's a slider for whites. You can see it moving left or right. So I can drop my whites. This way I get more detail in the photo. I can play with exposure a little bit, see what's happening. I can drop my highlights a little bit. So now all the details are being pulled in. And then again, same thing. I'm going and selecting my preset. In this case, I'm going to actually go with the light version, select the preset, done. Anytime you're making changes, we're actually going to do it with this photo. You can actually look at the before and after in case you needed to. But on this photo, I want to show you the masking again, but we're going to use it a little differently. So on this one here, you are not using the brush like before. There's brush there. I'm going to use subject. And with subject, it actually gives me a message. You guys can't see it, but like it selected my subject. So without me brushing, this is what it did. And now I can go ahead and like my exposure, you guys can see if I go darker, it goes completely dark. If I go super light, it's just helping me to like play with the part of the image, the part of the photo that I would like to enhance. So that's it. I just wanted to make it lighter, and then again I will apply another preset. Let's go with this one. And what I mentioned before is at the bottom here, you always have to remember this mask here. Whenever you're playing with mask, you have to like click on it and disable it. Then you're back to the normal menu, the set of sliders. And at this point, here at the bottom, you can see there's an option of the before and after. When you click on it, now you guys can see like this is where we started on the left, and on the right we can see the edited photo. And then you can actually click into this photo, and you'll see like, okay, this is the before and this is the after. So that's really what it is. And then you can disable it Oh, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can do top to bottom. You can do top to bottom, but like in one image, so you can kind of see the differences. And then if you want to go back, you actually click, there's an icon here showing a full picture. You click on it, and then you're back to this screen. And let's go to another photo. I'm looking at the clock. We still have a little bit of time. Let's go through a few more. So this one, again, I would probably bump exposure a little bit without overexposing the bride. You can hide the girls or not. Again, going through my list of presets, I'm selecting this one. This is me going super fast. Exposure, hey, this is too dark. What I would do is bump the exposure. You can also play with shadows. Shadows, what they are doing, they're not exposing the entire picture. They're just making the darker areas lighter. So so you can do this. And then again, same thing. You guys know the deal. I would click on my preset and go to the next photo. So you kind of get the idea of like what I'm doing here. It's just a matter of like looking at the photo. I'm actually going slower just because we're doing the demonstration. But you get the point. All the presets are here. I can just apply them, go to the next one. Now we switched over. This is where, you know, guys getting ready. Same deal. I can just select my presets. Next one. On this one, person seems to be too dark. I would go, again, mask, subject selection. It would select just the person. And then I would go exposure and just make sure within, you know, reasonable limits, right? You don't kind of want to make it weird looking, right? Effect. So I would bump it up, close my mask, go to the preset, and just select something that works. How about this one? And then next photo, and exactly the same thing. And this is how I would just kind of work every single image. So that's really what it is. And with guys, like in this one, probably needs an adjustment of like maybe rotating it around because I see that wall in a corner. I want to make sure that it's kind of straight, like whatever makes sense. And then I would maybe focus on just guys. And now if you look at the before and after, you can see the differences. And also, if we're going to apply something here, you can go extreme light, whatever your preference is. You just basically make those changes. Found a photo with the guys. I'm just going to select something here and like an outside image. And same deal. If you want to convert it to black and white, there's a couple black and white conversions that I use because not every black and white conversion works with every image depending on where it's taken. So I would work with settings here and just make my adjustments. And this is essentially what I'm doing with every photo. When there's a situation where you guys are processing images from the same location, let's say you're doing formals in a church or outside, and it's just a bunch of photos with a group of people, and the only thing that's changing it's really the individuals in the photo, but like the background, the lighting, everything stays the same. I would just select the group of photos as you saw before, like at the bottom, instead of going photo by photo by photo, maybe it's 100 photos taken in the same location. A lot of times I do it with like reception photos. So let's say it's just people dancing and I want to kind of change the vibe, the feel, the look, the colors for like a group of photos. Then I would just basically select that group, make my adjustments, and those adjustments will be applied to all the photos in that group. And then it's just, again, it's all about saving time. So we did some editing. I did show you guys the presets. I did show you where you can actually get the presets. I did show you how you crop images, how we change exposure, how we apply the previews. The batch adjustments we've covered in terms of like selecting a couple photos and making adjustments to those just to save time. And the next thing which I mentioned, I think two more things here that I wanted to share with you guys was one was the same day edit. Like if you're ever, maybe you're doing a birthday party and like for a neighbor, right? And then maybe an hour later, like they want to see some photos, like a preview. You don't have to show them your raw files, straight out of your camera. You can actually show them something nicer, something that's already edited. So what I do here is at the wedding, what we do is I usually select 40, 50 photos. And I do like a very quick edit, kind of like what we're doing here, and then we position like a monitor setup, and I go to a slideshow mode. Let me see if we can. Let me see if this works here. I hope it does. I'm going to select all photos, and I'm going to cross fingers that it works for you guys here. And let's say if I hit play, will it show it here on this preview? Let me test it for you guys and see what's happening here. So you can see it's like pre-building because it's making like adjustments, creating some temporary files. And you can select on the left there while this is loading. It's about 50% done. You guys will see the result in a second. But on the left here, there's different ways of kind of how the photos are displayed. So you can select from like simple to widescreen to like crop to fill. Here, I just did it with like, it has my name on it in the corner somewhere right here. And the photo, it doesn't really matter. The point is I wanted to show you how this is done. And once we go through this slideshow, if it works, I wanted to, let's see. Actually, it did not work. It did not work because it did display, like it actually selected a window to show because it's a full screen mode. It actually started to do a slideshow on this monitor that I'm presenting. So, but you guys get the point. Like you're in a slideshow mode, you basically create some, you select one of the styles on the left. I think we typically go with like crop to fill, or maybe this one. Yeah, I think it's crop to fill that we use. And then we just play it and get to kind of enjoy a quick preview, right? It's all about like feelings and client satisfaction. So this is exactly what we do. So this is where we do our slideshows. And one more thing, when I export images, I'm not going to go into details of like all the features of the export, but I just wanted to show you because you guys saw the folders, like when we're exporting photos for prints and photos for maybe another slideshow or photos for social media or like a Facebook preview or something. I go here and curious if you guys are going to see the window. If not, I will include a separate like a screen recording of those features. But basically, when you export them, it doesn't show here. So so I'll have to do another video for you guys. But in the export, when you looking at the export features, you're selecting a folder where those images are going, and then you're selecting different features in terms of like how do you want to name your files, what's the resolution of the files. If you know that it's going to be just for slideshow, you change your resolution to 72 pixels. This is maybe like resolution 72 pixels per inch. This is 240 when it's for print. Something that we're going to talk about, like this one requires a separate session, so I'm actually kind of happy that this one didn't work. But I think so this is the export. We did cover the slideshow as well. So just kind of things to one thing to remember when I noticed that like sometimes you open, let's say you're done with this event. The catalog is in place, and sometimes you want to go back and reopen the same catalog. It'll basically ask you for whether you want to create backup of the Lightroom catalog. I just want to explain what that means. Lightroom creates a backup file of a Lightroom catalog. So all the changes that you're applying to those photos are being stored basically inside like one single file. When Lightroom creates a backup, it basically creates a copy of your catalog and stores the same copy in the same folder, in the Lightroom folder, as you recall. So in case your original file, like let's say you went through the entire edit, it took you 20 hours to edit the entire event, and for some reason that one file got corrupted, and now it's like, Jesus, where what are we gonna do? That backup file is exactly for that purpose. You can open up the backup file, and it's essentially the same catalog, just a copy. In case one file gets corrupted, the other file is there for you to like. It's just a copy of the same catalog essentially. But what I do recommend is when you're being prompted for this for this option, try to select a location for your backup catalog that's different from where the original is going. So by default, Lightroom will store the copy in the same folder. But let's say, you know, something happened to like the files inside this folder. You want to make sure that you store the catalog somewhere else, maybe external hard drive, maybe another location. If you already have a backup on 2 different hard drives, you have nothing to worry about. But if you're storing the backup of the Lightroom catalog, make sure it's in a different location. This way, when one file gets corrupted or gets deleted, you can just simply grab the set of photos from a card, put it in there in the raw folder, open it up, open the backup catalog from a different location, and all your changes, all your work will still be there. So super important to remember, because it's we got burned where we had to recreate some work, and like over the years we know that this is what works. So in our case, it's a catalog is stored on one hard drive with all the files, and then we have the backup on another hard drive, and then we also have a cloud backup in case something happens to those hard drives. AI we're going to cover in another session because we're almost at time. I usually try not to go over like, you know, an hour. So we're at minute number 52, which I think we're good. So I think that's it in terms of Lightroom. Again, if you guys have any questions before I finish, if you have any questions, if you leave them in the comments, either on YouTube or on Facebook, inside Facebook group, join our group if you can. It's on Facebook, and you have the QR code that I already posted. So join the community if you can. If you can give us a like or subscribe, that would be awesome. And if you enjoyed this video, if you like this content, you're probably gonna enjoy the next one here. And that's it from me. Next week, we are talking about formals and cheat sheets. It's not something you guys want to miss. This is something we live by. And it just makes our life easier every time we do a shoot. So that's what we're doing next week. For this week, I think we're good. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next week. See ya.